Hello, Uncle Spurt here, and I've already reviewed Samsung's Galaxy Watch 8, so now it's time to go classic. And I gotta say, before I even slapped this thing on my arm, I had two major doubts. First, it's only available in the larger 46mm size, which ordinarily would put me right off because the diameter of my wrists can be measured in millimeters. And second is the price. The Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 Classic starts from 449 quid. And that's an awful lot of very good single malt right there. Anyway, here's my full Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 Classic review. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe, ding the old notifications bell. Cheers! Now, perhaps needless to say, Samsung's design for the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic has been rather divisive. And yes, beauty is certainly subjective, of course, but personally I do prefer the slimline design of the original Galaxy Watch 8 compared with the absolute chunkster that is the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. However, despite the fact that it is of course a supersized 46mm smartwatch, I don't think it looks too ridiculous on my spindly wee wrist. Although perhaps I'm just too used to seeing big fat chunksters like this slapped on my arm. I don't know, let us know what you reckon down in the comments. Now, as you can see, Samsung has used a similar squircle styling for that frame with a rounded bezel slapped on top. It's kind of like a weird double design, kind of looks like two smartwatches having it off. And it certainly doesn't help with the whole chunkiness factor, but what you've got here is a stainless steel casing. Now you can grab this watch in either black or white, and as you can see there, you've got the white bezel surrounding the screen, as well as this white surround for the buttons and of course the white straps, and they would all be black on the black model. And again, it's all subjective, but personally I do prefer the white model to the black. I find it's just a bit cleaner, just stands out a bit more. And just like the regular Galaxy Watch 8, you've got that dynamic lug system of Samsung's for removing the straps and slapping some new ones on. And these are much easier to manage if you actually have fingernails, you don't just bite them to bits. And I do rather like the leathery style strap that was bunged in the box with my Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. It's a bit posher than the rubbery effort that came bundled with the Galaxy Watch 8. And I've certainly found that the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic has been super comfortable to wear pretty much 24 hours a day. The only time I've ever really had to remove the thing is when I've been charging it, which more on all that fun and games in a bit. But it's certainly proven pleasantly rugged as well. It can survive in the drink at depths of up to 5 atmospheres of pressure. And that bezel does rise slightly above the surface of the screen as well to help protect it against any knocks. And yes, the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic has endured some punishment these past couple of weeks, but still in perfectly good nick. Now, let's have a bit of a chat about that 1.3-inch Super AMOLED display. I am seriously surprised that Samsung went with something so compact, especially when you consider that the smaller Galaxy Watch 8 with the 44mm casing has a larger 1.5-inch display. And this screen does look especially dinky given the size of the casing. It just looks bizarrely shrunken, stuck away in the center there. Well, thankfully I've got no qualms with the actual display other than the size of the thing. You've got a 438 by 438 pixel resolution, so it's perfectly sharp. Tiny text is easy to read, as you can see on this here watch face. If you want to check out your photo album on your watch face for some reason, relive all those happy memories. Again, pictures are reasonably crisp, animations look rather slick. But of course, if your eyesight ain't quite what it used to be, well, you might want to consider alternative options. As for the auto brightness, I've had zero qualms with this as well. And that display gets retina-searingly bright when you do wander outdoors on a sunshiny day, so you'll clearly be able to see everything that is going on. And likewise, it dials the brightness right down when you do wander back into an ambient environment, just to make sure the battery isn't being sapped unnecessarily. Now, to actually get the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic hooked up to your smartphone, you'll need to download a couple of apps, including, of course, good old Galaxy Wear. You can use this app to configure and customize pretty much everything on your Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, including all of the different tiles you've got set up, the watch faces and the various settings and everything. And there's a fairly extensive tips and tricks guide on here as well if you haven't had a Galaxy Watch slapped on your arm before. And then of course, good old Samsung Health will track all of your stats and fitness data. You've just got to remember that if you're not hooked up to a Samsung Galaxy smartphone, well, not all of the features here on the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic will work. Now, Samsung is one of the first smartwatch manufacturers to adopt wearOS 6, which sports a familiar layout but a few refinements and fresh features compared with older versions. I already did a full tour in my Galaxy Watch 8 review, but just a short version now. If you flick down, you've got all your various toggles, which is quite handy if you want to stick on the likes of theatre mode or sleeping mode. If you swipe up, you've got your full apps list. You can either have it as a list or just display the icons, and I do like how up at the top your recent apps do appear in a handy suggested bar. If you scroll to your left, you've got all of your notifications, and then if you scroll to the right, it's all of your tiles. Basically mini widgets, which again can be reordered, reorganized, etc. But I do like how you can stack several of these on one watch page now, so you don't have to be scrolling for absolutely hours to get to the stuff that you want. You can group similar stuff together. It's a much better way of keeping things organized, similar to the system that the likes of Xiaomi and Huawei smartwatches use. Now, while the regular Galaxy Watch 8 has just two buttons on the side, home and back, these are joined by a third quick button here in the center of the Classic. And by default, this launches straight into your favorite exercises. And I was expecting Samsung to allow you to customize that action button to basically launch any app that you like, but sadly the number of choices is rather slimline to say the least. You've got stopwatch, torch, waterlock, voice recorder, otherwise just straight into your My Exercises, although you can have it immediately jumping straight into a particular form of fitness tracking, whatever arm flapping, arse jiggling stuff you're into. And likewise, the customization rather limited for the home and back buttons as well. You can't change the main function. By long pressing the home button, you can load up your digital assistant. Now, thankfully, you can turn a double push of that home button into a shortcut to your favorite app. So at least that's an option. But that back button, not really customizable at all. Sadly, a long press of it would load up Samsung Wallet if again you were connected to a Samsung Galaxy smartphone, but not in this case. It is proper annoying that you can't long press that back button in order to, for instance, get the Google Wallet to spring up instead. And I've got to say that rotating bezel is as exceptionally satisfying as always. This is one knob that I could happily fiddle with for days. And bugger all issues when it comes to the connectivity for the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. As you'd expect from a premium smartwatch, you've got integrated Wi-Fi, and of course you can tether to your smartphone to use that device's internet connection as well. Or you can even chuck an extra 50 quid into Samsung's gusset. Grab yourself an LTE version if you want to stay connected wherever you roam, even if you've left your smartphone in the gym locker at home or whatever. I haven't tested the LTE connectivity, but certainly the Wi-Fi connection's been absolutely fine. Only issue I've had is occasionally it'll take a wee while for the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic to actually download an app or some Spotify songs. It'll sort of pause and linger and have a bit of a think about it for a good 20-30 seconds before finally actually doing it. Now you've got the usual selection of apps stuffed onto the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, and the majority of these work absolutely fine even if you're not connected to a Galaxy smartphone, thankfully, certainly all of the main stuff. And if you do need to download anything extra, well, no worries, of course you've got full Play Store access. So if you need a toilet app or a parking app, boom, job done. And yes, you do have full Gemini support right here on the watch as well, which you can fast access by holding down the home button. And I do find chatting to Gemini just feels more natural, weirdly, if I do it on my smartwatch compared with my phone. You just, of course, need to remember to swap to Gemini from Bixby in those digital assistant settings. A choice which, let's face it, isn't really even a choice. It requires zero consideration. Like, what would you like for dinner tonight, love? A nice bit of sirloin or a sandwich? Although I suppose if you're vegan, you can't really have either of those options, can you? I don't know, can vegans eat shit? I mean, it technically comes from an animal. And the only problem is the built-in speaker on the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic ain't the beefiest around, that's for sure. So, for instance, are Sunderland Football Club going to be relegated next season?
It's too early to know for certain, but bookmakers have made Sunderland the favourites for relegation from the Premier League next season.
I think actually some bookmakers now have Burnley as the favourites, but yeah. So yeah, certainly if you're outdoors in a fairly busy area, high street or whatever, and you're trying to take a call on this thing, which is quite convenient at times when you can't be asked to pluck your phone out of your pocket, you will struggle to hear what is going on, although thankfully if you are using the likes of Gemini, of course it displays all of that text right there on the screen so you can just read it instead of listening to it. And I've got to say, you can still use Gemini even in an incredibly loud environment, because that microphone that's built in here is supernaturally good at picking up every word that you say nice and clear. I've tried using Gemini on the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic in various bars with loud music absolutely blaring out of massive f***off speakers, and even one time in the middle of a circus performance, and every time just worked flawlessly. So yeah, it gets the spurt of approval there. Oh, and also haptics are proper solid on this thing. It vibrates like a mofo whenever you get a notification or whatever, so you won't miss anything, that's for sure. And no complaints with the 3nm chipset, the Exodus W1000, which runs the show here. It's been absolutely solid this past fortnight, nice and smooth and slick and responsive. Now that bioactive sensor from the Galaxy Watch 8 makes a welcome return on the arse end of the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. If you want to go nuts tracking all kinds of different health stats, well, this certainly does the job. All your regular stuff, including heart rate, SpO2 levels, all the way up to the likes of your blood pressure levels, your body mass index, even the volume of antioxidants coursing through your veins. And then you can check it all out right here on the Smartwatch's display to see if you've really earned that Greg's steak bake for lunch. And as for the actual exercise tracking, well, tons of different options packed on here, so no matter what you're into, chances are it's supported in some way. Joggers and runners are particularly well supported now, as Samsung has slapped a running coach onto this thing. There's few things on this planet that I hate more than running. The only time I'll ever run is when they're calling last orders, so personally I haven't tested that feature out, soz. But when you're in a workout, you can quickly check out how long you've been doing it for and the number of calories the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic reckons you've burned right there on the main screen. You can also scroll down to heart rate data as well, which is much easier using the old bezel thing when you're in a workout rather than swiping the touch screen, which can be a bit finicky. Is finicky a word? I don't know, but sometimes I'll try and swipe across to pause or finish my workout and that won't really work. This is why it's good that you've got that central button which you can tap to pause and resume your workout at any point. And when you are in a workout, if you do go back to the main watch face at any point, you're supposed to get a wee card popping up here at the bottom of the screen that you can quickly tap in order to jump straight back into your workout, but as you can see there, this never really bloody works. It seems to work fine for the likes of Spotify, so I've got no idea why the exercises, it just never seems to work. And you basically just have to tap your way back into here, pause the workout, resume again, and then there you go. There's also an auto workout feature on the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, which seems pretty reliable. Every single time I've gone out wandering somewhere, it's basically kicked in. Every time I've stopped for a bit, generally at the local odd bins to pick up some supplies, it'll recognize that I've stopped walking and pause the workout until I bugger off again. And the GPS tracking seems perfectly reliable here on the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic as well. Certainly more than good enough for walking, although as I say, haven't tested it out for running, because running can do one. And the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic seems perfectly dependable and reliable when it comes to sleep tracking as well. Can generally tell when you've nodded off and when you've woken back up again. If there's some kind of sleep stat, the chances are the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic can monitor it, including your sleep stages, how much you were moving during your sleep, even when you were snoring. And then Samsung Health assigns you a sleep animal and basically tells you how to be better at being unconscious. And the Watch 8 Classic can apparently help detect sleep apnea and also monitor your vascular load while you're asleep, so hopefully it'll give you a heads up if you're about to keel over. And I believe the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic sports a marginally larger battery compared with the previous generation of Classic at 445 mAh. And while the Galaxy Watch 8 could just about make it through a 36-hour period with all of the features switched on, thankfully the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic does just about reach a full 48-hour effort. And that is again with all the features switched on, always on display on the auto exercise tracking, all of that good stuff, and wearing it consistently, basically 24 hours a day, including all night long for that sleep tracking. And that's good because 48 hours is pretty much the minimum I can cope with these days when it comes to a smartwatch. I absolutely hate having to charge these things every single day. In fact, frankly, I would just say bollocks to the sleep tracking and just leave it charging overnight alongside my smartphone, because I hate being without a watch throughout the day. Unfortunately, when it does need recharging, it is proper bloody slow. It's soaking up that juice using the bundled magnetic dock. You're talking a good hour and a half, 2 hours to get this thing back up to full power, which is pretty annoying. And of course, it's still not the best wearOS watch when it comes to battery life. The likes of the OnePlus Watch, for instance, tends to last a full 3 days in between charges if you don't go too mental. And then you got the likes of the Huawei watches, for instance, which generally last around a week or so between charges. Only problem there being that those don't have wearOS, so you don't get the Play Store access to download more apps, and you don't get the full dedicated notification support. And of course, bugger all, Gemini has no support for the old Google Wallet. Anyway, that right there, my lovelies, is what I reckon of the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. It is a proper full-on chonkster, no denying it, and it does have its fair share of issues as well. The battery life still isn't fantastic, although it is an improvement over the Galaxy Watch 8. A few software quirks and everything as well, and then of course the asking price is sky high, so I would be more tempted, I've got to say, to slap a Huawei smartwatch on my wrist instead. Just put up with the fact that I can't use it for contactless payments and you lose that Gemini. Anyway, that's what I think. What do you reckon? Especially if you've had a Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 Classic slapped on your own, hopefully less spindly wrist. Be lovely to hear what you think down in the comments below. Please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech. And have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers, everybody. Love you.